Hey guys, what's up here? Brian Latimer again. I just wanted to take a little bit of time today to answer a couple questions that I get via social media. I get a lot of questions via the direct message on Instagram, on Facebook, on comments on some of the posts, and I just wanted to take a little time to number one, let you guys know that I do see those questions. A lot of times I don't have quite time to answer all of them because usually I answer one at least another question. I kind of have a family and I like to fish too. So we'll take a little time. I'm going to try to start answering some of those questions periodically. And the first one comes from a comment on one of my Facebook posts. I'll read it to you guys right here. This is Adam and Des Troy. It was on one of my pictures from the Mississippi River showing off one of the swim jigs that I caught my fish on. And Adam says, I'm hearing this more and more, pairing craws with swim jigs. Can you go into detail of why a craw trailer instead of a swim bait trailer? Are you swimming it more or swim hopping and stopping? And I love that question because it really made me stop and think. I've just always used a craw type trailer, no matter if I'm trying to mimic shad or if I'm mimicking crawfish. And I'll tell you one of the advantages of using a craw trailer versus a swim bait trailer. Predominantly I use a craw style trailer, no matter if I'm trying to mimic the shad or if it's a brim type mimic that I'm trying to come up with. That craw trailer displaces a lot more water, number one. So if I'm in more stained water, I get a little bit more water displacement. It gives that bait a little bit more buoyancy. It's a bigger piece of plastic. If you're displacing more water, you're going to be able to keep that bait up higher. I'm swimming the jig high, trying to keep it up over the top of grass. And so that swim bait trailer lets me work that bait a little bit slower. I was fishing for fish that were spawning, so if I could get that bait just to go a little bit slower to their bed, kept it in the strike zone a little bit longer, and I felt like it helped me get a few more bites. When I want to use the swim bait trailer, it's typically when I'm going to be throwing it, trying to get actually in contact with grass, particularly hydrilla, and I want it to kind of snake through that grass a little bit better. I'll use a swim bait trailer, or if they're a little bit less aggressive. But you kind of have to experiment with that on your own. I don't think there's a gospel truth to either one. Swim bait trailers work sometimes for me, but most of the time I'm going to use a craw trailer. So thanks for that question. I really appreciate that, Adam. That was a great question. Opens up a really good conversation. So this next question is from my buddy John Swain. He sent me a direct message on Instagram and it reads this: Brian, I need your help. I need to know the best chatterbait rod between 6 foot and 6'6". I would say medium, but medium heavy is also a thought. What's your preference? So that's a great question as well. I like this question a lot. For chatterbait, it really kind of depends on how you're using the chatterbait. There's two setups that I really like if you're talking about a casting setup for throwing a bladed jig or a chatterbait. If I'm going to be kind of throwing it around docks and kind of trying to place it around shallow targets, really close shallow targets, I like a little bit shorter rod, something 7 foot, a medium heavy action. If you can get a glass rod, that would be great. Typically, if I'm trying to place that bait a little bit more accurately, I like a graphite composite rod. Personally, I think you have a little bit more control over the bait. Somewhere from 7 foot to 7'2", medium heavy action is going to get the job done for me. If I'm fan casting that chatterbait over flats, over grass flats, over aquatic vegetation, if I'm bringing it through some pretty heavy cover, I'm probably going to up the size of my rod significantly. A 7'6", a 7'8", something a little bit larger. That's going to let me get that bait out there a lot farther. In that situation, I almost exclusively are going to try to use a glass rod or something with a very soft tip, almost like a crankbait rod. Something that's going to let that fish get the bait, let him choke it good before I go to set the hook on it. A lot of times, the bite on a chatterbait is going to be on the initial fall. When it hits the water and you turn the handle about 2 or 3 times, the fish is going to get it. So depends on the situation there. If I'm going to be fishing shallow around little short, close targets, 7 foot, medium heavy or so, 7 foot, 7'2", medium heavy or medium action. If I'm fan casting over flats, over aquatic vegetation, not really trying to be accurate, it's going to be like a 7'6", 7'4", 7'6" foot glass rod. I like a slower reel, 5'3" to 1. Definitely no more than like a 6'2" to 1 gear ratio reel. I'm going to use either 20-pound fluorocarbon, Seaguard and Vizex, 5:3 to 1 gear ratio reel, and I'm going to get at it. So great question, John. I appreciate you sending me that direct message, bud. So thank you guys for sending in those questions periodically. From now on, I'll try to at least entertain a couple questions every month or so. And so anytime, I'm always looking at it. You can always comment on any of my posts, my YouTube videos, or you can also send me a direct message, and every once in a while I might answer them. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.